welcome and thank you for joining me for another movie review. Today I'll be reviewing The Predator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers and Shane Black, who directs the sequel coming out this week. And from the very first scene of The Predator, we see that it's not an actual balls to the wall Arnie movie like we previously thought. It actually has some thoughts and some kind of tones that doesn't really belong in an action-heavy Arnie film, such as the first scene in which we see a spacecraft ejecting something onto the surface of the Earth. We later find out it's the Predator, but my thought is that we really could have done without that scene. In fact, it could have just started when Arnold Schwarzenegger's team is on the helicopters going towards the island to meet the general. That might have been a better introduction, and then later on when we first see Predator vision, we might think that it's some kind of military soldier with enhanced combat technology in the field. That might have been a lot interesting, and then it's a pure shock when we find out it's an actual alien. And from the very first scene we know Arnie plays a badass because he's smoking a big ass cigar. And something interesting that I noticed while the credits were still going was that this was in fact directed by John Mctiernan. He also directed Die Hard and a range of other great movies. Die Hard is in fact one of my favourite action movies and came close to becoming my all-time favourite movie. And next we see Carl Weathers, who plays the CIA agent who offsets Arnie's military man role.
Son of a bitch. Huh?
It's a shame that I haven't seen Carl Weathers in some roles recently, because I think he's quite an athletic and quite an alright actor. I reckon he can probably lead a team himself, if not for Arnold. I like as well how the mood and the music changes from a very playful and very professional introduction to a heavy combat at the ready and guns blazing tone. Once the helicopters land, we actually see the jungle for what it really is, a dense wilderness. And I think this is probably one of the best films actually filmed on location in the jungle, because you just get that feeling of mysterious and dense jungle atmosphere. And I think that's what one of the real attractions of the film is. It's that, this kind of suspense that you don't really know what's in the jungle at all. You can sometimes tell that it's filmed on the set. For example, in Lord of the Rings The Two Towers, when Merry and Pippin stumble across Treebeard, you can tell that they were filmed on set because the background and the foreground don't really match. They're not the same aspect. But here, everything in the background is just, it's the same. It matches purely with the foreground, and you can tell it's all the same place. And while they're moving through the jungle, I've got to give praise to the writer of The Predator, because he either knows his military language and manoeuvres, or he's researched it very well. Eventually we come across a military compound where hostages are apparently being imprisoned. And then Arnie's team goes, infiltrates and, tears the hell out of them. It's really cool, lots of explosions, lots of gunfire, very cool stuff. But I could have done without the Arnie one-liners. Even though he's known for it, it's just that cheese factor. Sometimes it's not needed, other times it's pretty cool, but, I could have done without it. The firefight itself, it's ace, it's flawless, they win and they use the weapons in various ways and locations that actually make the gunfight and the battle rather escalating and rather good. I think that's one of the better things about the movie. Its use of gunfire, its use of weaponry. And the Gatling gun that Jesse Ventura wields. God, I want that gun. Must be so cool to wield, honestly. Can you imagine like a gun like that going off? I have to say the suspense is really ramped up by a very skilled filmmaker who uses the mystery and terrain of the jungle to full effect. I love Arnie's face as well when one of his own soldiers tells him that he can't tell if he's found Hawkins' body. I dare say that this is probably one of Arnie's better acting roles. And then we see a shit ton of ammo wasted just to make the creature bleed a little bit. I think it's one of the better scenes and more iconic because of all the ammo that they waste. They make it bleed just a little bit. What do you have to do to defeat such a creature? It's very tense, and it's very great to see that, you know, despite all the attempts on the Predator's life, he still survives even after all the gunfire. And despite Arnie's group setting up all these death traps and booby traps and stuff, the Predator comes in and kills everyone there. But one thing that people don't think is that while they're setting up all the traps, I think the Predator is just somewhere in the trees watching them going, well, I know my route in. And of course everyone dies in the Predator except for Arnold Schwarzenegger. But one real letdown I noticed was that Billy, the Native American, he takes a last stand against the Predator on like a little log bridge, and we don't actually see his death. And that is kind of a disappointment. This character, who's all the way through the film, has actually been quite on point, and you know, he's been the one character who notices the Predator is there, but cannot kind of work out what he is. And we don't even see him get killed, or we don't even see his most heroic scene. I just think it's a bit of a letdown, and I would have liked to see him go mano a mano with a big machete. I think that would have been an ace scene, but we had to get quickly to the Arnie fighting the Predator scene, didn't we? And Carl Weathers' character's death as well. That's not a letdown at all. I think that's probably one of the better scenes in the movie. At first, you think through Carl Weathers and, you know, the other guys flanking the Predator, you think they might just succeed, but no, not with this Predator. The Predator's just too good. And only Arnold Schwarzenegger is left to fight the Predator with only a bow and arrow and these traps that he set up at his disposal. What is good though is that the traps does not work on the Predator, and he figures them out except for the last one, making it a last ditch effort and making us on the edge of our seats. The film, in conclusion, is not without its goofy one-liners or scenarios, but it's an excellent action flick. The Predator itself looks strange enough, and I love its high-tech weapons. I love movies where the design department can just go absolutely crazy with their ideas, adding different things like dreadlocks and making them somehow work. I think it's an excellent choice because it's just that strange enough. I will definitely put the film up there with the second Alien movie. I think it's that entertaining, as well as Schwarzenegger's better, albeit less defining roles. Thank you for joining me for another review. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more from inside the movie world.